Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coffee, Community, and Cocktails. I'm your host, Angela McFarland, and I'm very excited to have with us tonight Pamela Martin, the Executive Director
Yes, I'm founder.
and founder of Expressive Path, no S, um, which is a Norristown staple and great nonprofit organization. Um,
Thank you.
you're very welcome. We're excited to have you here. Our relationship began 3 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it was that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you were a customer of the store,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So before we started this whole coffee business, coffee cart thing, and the nonprofit, and we were just a record store, we were two doors down, as many people know. Pam was a customer because she's a lover of all things music and 80s and
music,
yeah,
absolutely.
right? So maybe just come in a little closer so we can get
Okay.
better volume. And
How's this?
good.
Okay.
And then I remember when we started the cart, and it was the early days. I want to say maybe it was August, and we had just started officially in June. And I was working at that little tiny little rolly desk at the front of the store. You came up to me and handed me a brochure and said, I'd like to partner with you in some way. Maybe, maybe
I
you could be your
remember.
charity
I
partner.
do.
And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll get back to you because I had no idea what I was doing. And
And now you're partnering with everybody.
right, right. Well, and then I remember I put you off until the end of the year because it was not long after we started this that we realized we had to move because we
Yeah.
just didn't have the space down there for what we were envisioning.
And what a great move.
Right?
Love it here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we moved down here, and you were our, you're the only charity partner that we've ever had 2 months consecutive.
Okay.
And we did that November and December of 2020 because we really wanted to kind of get more stuff in for you.
Yeah, I appreciated that. And
you're-
we actually did get quite a bit of donations in.
Yeah, we did. We were able to. I think we donated a couple $100, but we had a donation box, and we had a lot of people that very generously donated musical instruments. We created an Amazon wish list for you, so we had people donating journals and art supplies. So
Canvas.
it's Canvas, yeah. So talk about what Expressive Path is.
Okay. So Expressive Path is a mobile nonprofit organization located in Norristown, and we work with disadvantaged teens that are underserved, that are 12 to 19, by providing them opportunities in the creative arts. We do this through workshops, exhibitions, performances, community service, and further education opportunities.
And what brought you to that?
That's a good question.
Thanks. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah. What brought me to that? So I worked with Montgomery County Human Services for over 20 years. I worked in child welfare for 16 and senior welfare, the opposite side of the spectrum, for 4. And particularly when I was working with child welfare, I saw that teens always got the short end of the stick. So it would be, teens in foster care, and Christmas time would come rolling by, and everybody wanted to get stuff for the little kids. And they just got left out so much. And I saw how when they were involved with activities and staying off the streets and making good decisions and being productive, they were on the right track. So we really wanted to help, myself and a lot of folks want to help keep them on the right track. And that's when I started thinking about Expressive Path. I'm a photographer.
Okay.
We talked about that I love music.
You gave me that beautiful picture that you took for my birthday.
Oh, thank
Love
you.
that.
I'm glad you like it.
I love that.
It's so, just already being involved with the arts, loving events, loving other people's art. I just decided, let me combine all my true loves, and it turned out to be Expressive Path. And what happened was, my mother was pretty sick at the time when I was, starting this. And I ran the idea by her, and she said, I think this is a really great idea. I think you can do this. I know you can do this. And she passed shortly after, and then I just put all my energies into it. And it just started like coming together. And I thought, wow, I think I have an angel here helping out with this.
Oh, 100%.
So that's how it started to come to life. What happened was then I stayed with the county. I stayed with the county until the end of 2018. So I was doing Expressive Path and working with the county full time.
When did you launch officially Expressive Path?
That's a good question. So I started 2014 is when we were incorporated. 2015 is when we started services. So from 2015 to 2018, I was doing both. I was
Okay.
doing working with the county, and then I was doing Expressive Path.
Okay.
And that was a challenge.
Oh, sure.
But I wanted to make sure it was going to happen, and I wanted to get my pension, and I wanted just to do it right. And my
Right.
father was encouraging me to do it right. And so then 2018, the end, I retired 2019. We started getting momentum. I was really feeling it. Things were coming together. And then 2020, COVID wall.
Yep.
So we did take a hit on that. But yeah.
Excuse me one second. Excuse me, peanut gallery.
Or too loud?
Yes, too loud. Thank you. Go in the back. Okay, so you hit the COVID wall.
Yeah, we hit the COVID wall. And, we have our own COVID story, and there's a lot of challenges. Obviously, we're a mobile organization that goes into schools, goes into nonprofits and churches, shelter, detention, so forth. All those doors were basically closed to us.
Right.
So then we had to learn, technology. And then we went in everywhere virtually, and we did something similar to this. We did some podcasts and so forth. We
were on there.
Yeah, you were. You were actually the most popular guest.
Really?
Yeah, you got a lot of hits. Absolutely. But
Kidding.
yeah, you were. So
Was Jake on it or was it just me? I can't remember.
I think Jake was in there too.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to just hear this.
Oh, it's pretty popular.
It's pretty popular.
But so some positive things did come out of that. I mean, learning that technology has been really helpful to us.
Sure.
And it helped us reach more students and expand. So some positives ended up coming out of that.
Do you have I think you do. Do you have a brick and mortar headquarters? Or is it your house?
When I started, it was my house. And then what happened was we moved into two separate locations. Center
Okay.
Theater on DeKalb Street,
Mm-hmm.
and then Monco Sac, which is the senior center.
Right.
But this was really super challenging for us because trying to do inventory for two different places
Right. Oh, you had them simultaneously.
Ugh. And there's not an elevator at Monco Sac, so
Right.
we had to walk up two flights of steps with trombones and drum sets, and you have it. But what ended up happening is you're asking at a perfect time. We just got our own place. It's on Cherry Street
Nice.
in Norristown, and it is brick and mortar, 3,000 square feet. So we have a place to put all our inventory in one home, and then
Great.
the first floor will be all workshops and office space and so forth.
That's
And the
great.
great thing about it is that it's in walking distance of so many students in need.
That's great.
So yeah.
That's great. Will you have, I know some of the things that you do, the showcases that you have or the art shows, will you be able to, do you have space to do that now in your facility?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do some gallery shows. We'll also do some beautification efforts. Something that we like to do. We'd like to do a lot of collaborations.
Right.
We do a lot of community collaborations.
That's how you change community, though. That's how you build community.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it gives a student a sense of pride of where they're in and ownership, respect, and teaches about advocacy.
100%.
So we're going to beautify the back area there, and then hopefully we'll be welcome to work with the community there and do more of the street. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And you've got a lot of important events coming up. And I know other businesses try to collaborate with you and help raise money for your nonprofit. So
that's true.
we have the mutual friend of Melissa Nowitzki from the Bridgeport Rib House,
Awesome.
who, by the time this airs, hopefully you will have watched Melissa's podcast and seen that she's a boss.
She is.
When I asked her to be on the
Sure is.
show, you'll appreciate this. When I asked her to be on the podcast, she was like, "I'm not interesting." I said, "Mel,
Oh my God, she's so interesting.
you're so interesting."
Yeah.
And her story is so empowering, and
Right.
and it just, and you and I very similar in our love of music, and so just the stories and the whole thing was really tied it together. But I know that she has transitioned Ribstock, which is February 19th this year.
Yes.
It's a Sunday. It's always the Sunday before President's Day. I guess when it originally started, it was not a charity fundraiser, but now it is.
Yes.
And how many years have you been the recipient?
I would say the last 4.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
this year it's Expressive Path, it's Bridgeport Little League, and it's also the Upper Marion
Food covered.
food cupboard,
Hmm.
which is fantastic. So it's $10 at the door. I believe there's 6 or 7 bands playing. Um, Off the top of my head, Pawn Shop Roses, Paul Hammond, um,
Former strangers who
Former
we both love.
Strangers. Yeah, absolutely. Nat Attack. I think Hot Sauce
Hot Sauce
Junkies is
Junkies, yeah.
playing, and um, there's a '90s band, and Melissa did reference it. I had never heard of them. I'm excited to hear them
Yeah.
now. So they're playing, and you're going to get some of the best food in the area there.
And
To
make new friends.
make new friends,
And I
yeah.
just want to throw in that we are so thankful for those bands who donate their time. And it just means so much to so many. And we appreciate it for our students. It helps so much.
It does, and I don't think people really understand. I too do a lot of community events involving live music, and when I reach out to these bands, if they're playing here on a Friday or a Saturday night, they're giving up paying gigs.
Absolutely.
And Sundays are becoming more popular with a lot of bars and restaurants booking bands. So all of those bands have given up an opportunity to make whatever it is their rate is for the betterment of organizations like Expressive Path or like Jake's Baristas. And I think that's another reason why you and I are so dedicated to the musicians that give that up for us.
It's huge.
It's huge.
I think when you're an artist or a musician, people think you do everything in that realm and just want to jump into everything in that realm.
Or they think it's just a hobby.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of times it is, but they also are performing a service and providing you an
Absolutely.
experience, and they should be compensated for
I
that.
mean, just packing up and
Ah,
getting there is such a chore. So
100%.
much appreciated. We
Yeah,
appreciate all
we
of you.
appreciate all of them. So it's $10 to get in. 100% of the proceeds goes directly to those 3 organizations. Again, like I said, some of the best food you're going to get. The waitresses and the bar staff are phenomenal.
Super cool.
Um, she's selling bar stools. Limited seats are available at $100 a piece, but you get it for the duration of the show. And then you can also, and I'm assuming you know this, but I brought this up and talked to her about it. You can also bring donations of musical instruments or art supplies. They don't have a tremendous amount of room, so leading up to it, I will also be a drop-off spot for donations for
I didn't
Expressive
know
Path.
that. That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Well,
Why am I not surprised?
that's the surprise for you. So
Love it.
well, we'll create. I mean, we only have 3 weeks until then, so we're going to create another Amazon list, and people that can't make it here, sometimes that's what we got a lot of stuff from. People just clicked and sent, which was cool.
Awesome.
But they take musical instruments and working order. Don't just give stuff that needs to be repaired because that defeats the purpose. But gently used or well loved but still functioning instruments and art supplies. Anything else? Like, what's the big thing that you find a lot of the kids that are in your program want or they need right now?
So, music-wise, guitars are super popular, and art-wise, we go through so much paint.
Oh, sure.
And they love to get paints that are not just the junky little, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
craft store paint.
Yeah.
Like, we give them professional paints.
Okay.
We give them opportunity to use professional materials. Because the kids that are in our workshops typically are pretty serious and enjoy the art.
Absolutely.
So we do go through a lot of paint.
Okay. What about paintbrushes, canvases?
Paintbrushes, absolutely. Canvases. Anything that has to do with paint is our most popular activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any kids that are doing like clay modeling or anything like that?
We do clay, we do paint, we do drawing, we do singing, poetry, printmaking, photography,
Okay.
journaling. We could always use journals.
Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of those last time. I think
Yeah.
somebody sent us a case of them actually.
We're working that's really helpful because we're working with a lot of students that are displaced from their homes, and journals are great for drawing, writing their ideas, expressing themselves.
Absolutely.
So,
And if somebody wanted to make a financial donation, how do they
Yes.
go about doing that?
they could send a check to us or they could Venmo.
Do you have an online?
We have it at Expressive Path, all lowercase Venmo.
Perfect.
PayPal, expressivepath.org is our website, and there's a donation link.
And you are a 501.
We are
Right.
501c3.
So everything is tax deductible.
That's correct.
So, you know.
And anything is helpful.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Just, you know, and you're better at it than I am. You know, I'm always trying to give people stuff.
She's trying to give me.
Yeah, she's a guest on my show, and she tried to pay for coffee, and I'm like, no. She's like, stop telling people no. I'm so bad at this.
Come in here and buy coffee and buy records and help them out. I mean, they're doing a huge service for this community.
All right, this is about you.
Oh, I need to. Sorry.
All right, guys.
Huge service for this community. They just get it. They just get it, and they get what these kids need. And, you know, if you just come in here and buy a record, or just come in and say hi and see how you can help, or have a coffee with Jake. I mean, I walked in the door, he gave me a big handshake. He wants to get me a cup of coffee. Let him get you a cup of coffee. It'll make his day.
It will. That's his. And the thing is, some people that come in like, oh, no, I don't want any coffee. He doesn't stop there. No. You want a bottle of water? Do you want a soda? Do you want a breakfast sandwich?
And if you don't want, just get the coffee.
Because the reality is, if this whole thing crashed and burnt tomorrow, the kid has a career in sales. I'm telling you right now. We found his niche.
It's not about you wanting the coffee. It's about giving him a chance to learn a skill to work with you and to have it through life.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, for the small price of $2.
Yeah.
And it's not just him. It's the other kids that work here.
Absolutely.
You know, and you got to come in. You got to experience something a little bit different than other guests have experienced. You got to watch us do the podcast prior to you. That yes. By the time this airs will have aired, and it was Shane and Pepper.
I'm glad mine's airing a different week because that was a hard act to follow.
Right? Wasn't he phenomenal? Oh
yeah,
my gosh!
About it. He's very inspiring.
14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But you see where he gets it.
Yeah.
And his parents are phenomenal, and the kid was just unbelievable. And that also then speaks to your mission and your cause, because these kids are that age. Are written off a lot of times, whether they have a disability or not. And your target of participants in your program are often also some of the more disenfranchised kids, right?
This is so true.
African American kids that have maybe not a whole lot of opportunities.
Definitely underserved. So that just brings me, I want to jump in and say, we started a new program on Friday nights. It's called Community Creators.
Love it.
It's in Audubon. It's from 6 to 9 at night. We do a little activity. We have dinner, and then we bring in a guest like yourself. So hopefully you'll come on Friday night.
Where in Audubon?
It's at the Lincoln Academy.
Okay.
And we do have a guest. Like, for example, Montgomery County Community College came and did design your own guitar. We had an illustrator come in, and they got to draw. But the most exciting thing is, they're staying out of trouble. They're being productive. We don't allow any phones at the end.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because they're there to make new friends.
Absolutely.
And they're actually making new friends. Students that, are on the spectrum, that have really serious, anxiety issues.
Yep.
Just a wide gamut. They're making friends, and they're excited to come.
That's awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah, we would love to participate in that. So, all right. So besides Ribstock, you have your Spring Fling.
We do. Thanks for remembering. We do have 2 other big events. Well, we kind of are like you in that.
Yeah, you always have an event.
Any chance for like an event or a party, it's like, yes, we'll be there. I don't know how to say no either, so I don't know why I scold you. But
yeah.
That being said, so we do have April 28th at Lulu Temple, the Lulu Shriners. A lot of people know them for the rodeo and Plymouth Meeting.
Yeah, and they used to do a circus.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
They did circus there.
Scared the crap out of me.
So it will not be a circus.
Good, because it freaked me out. Clowns are no bueno for me.
But it will be a 70s theme.
Oh,
which is so much fun. So in Hindsight, local band Hindsight is playing. A lot of the folks in Hindsight, people know from the Sofa Kings.
Okay.
The retired Sofa King crew.
That's awesome.
And they're great.
Shout out to our angel in heaven, Tommy Naj.
Oh God, yeah. I know. He's the best.
Oh,
He was a kind. I shouldn't veer, but
No, it's okay because when Mel was here, we ended up talking about Tommy too.
he was just the kind of guy, like, if you just went anywhere by yourself, like, he was just there for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was just fun.
I feel like he cloned himself sometimes. I'm like, how were you in 7 places in one night? I thought I got around.
Yeah.
Tommy got around.
Yeah, he was so cool.
And always had a kind word for small businesses and people like us that were trying to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Because that was who he was fundamentally as well.
Yeah, I can't tell how many times he helped Expressive Path out, and the Sofa Kings.
Yeah.
But so 70s theme, it is
Is it 70s dress,
now.
like people come
Please,
dressed up?
I hope you'll come. 70s theme
28th.
dress up.
It's a Saturday?
It's so much more fun when people dress.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's a Friday night. It's from
Oh, it's
6
a Friday
to 10.
night. Okay.
And we're having a pre-sale, $50 a ticket. We'll go up. Last year, Jordan Mailata came from the Eagles. Go Birds!
Nice.
We're hoping he comes again this year. We'll see. He's a little bit busy right now.
Yeah, probably can't reach him. I mean, maybe the next time Kelsey responds to my messages about my nails, I'll ask him if, he could get a message to Jordan.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, so that's our spring fling. It's so much fun. So I highly recommend it to
That's awesome.
folks, and we appreciate your attendance. And then the other event we have is our annual Art in the Park Music Festival, and that is at the Elmo Park Zoo in Norristown. It's on September 16th, and that is from 10 to 4. You can come if you're an artist or no one. You can be a vendor. You could just be somebody who comes in and listens to music. You can come buy crafts and buy beautiful art. And a lot of our students do perform and sell their artwork.
That's fantastic.
So you're
getting the opportunity to see what they do.
Yeah.
Buy their artwork, which is just going to empower them further.
Yeah, it boosts their self-esteem so much. So.
Do you have a band yet?
So we are not going to do big bands like we have in the past.
Okay.
We're going to do.
You had Former Strangers last year, right?
We've had them,
yeah.
They're so good. But we're going to have like trios and a lot of student performers and a lot of just single performers. We're going to have 2 stages.
Nice.
So they'll alternate, and then we're going to have a third stage, which will be live art.
Nice.
Being made through the day.
Oh, that's great.
So we're kind of scrolling, but.
And you're doing it at the zoo, or you're doing it at the park?
It's at the zoo only this year.
Okay, because last year was at the band shell, right?
We did both last year. So we're just going to keep it at the zoo, but then we'll have the 3 stations. And then they have the cafe, they have a beer garden. Of course, they have lots of animals, duh.
Yeah, lots of great stuff to do down there.
I mean, it's fun.
And
it's free for 19401 residents.
Nice.
So, and we're all of Expressive Path, and I know you are too, all about Norristown.
All about
Huge Norristown cheerleaders.
Yeah. Did you grow up here?
So I was born in Lafayette Hills, and then I grew up in Bluebell.
Okay.
But I raised my son in Norristown. And I've heard so many negative things about Norristown School District over the year, and it just makes me cringe because it makes me want to scream.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has had so many great teachers, counselors, principals, and Expressive Path. That's all we work with. I just couldn't say more about it. I just can't stand when people say, even friends of mine, and you're going to hear this, my friends, that you're going to move, but you're not sure if you want to move in this area. You really like it, but the school district, nah. School district is phenomenal.
It is, and I'm a graduate of Norristown School District.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
So I'm saying the right thing.
You are. You are. And my son is a graduate of Norristown School District.
Yeah.
My older 2 children, my stepchildren, went to the Renaissance Academy. They didn't have the program to accommodate Jacob's needs.
Okay.
So he was part of Norristown, and I have to tell you that I credit Norristown School District with a lot of his development and his growth.
Good. I feel like he's here.
He is. He's lurking.
He's watching us.
He's lurking. He's lurking.
He's a born star.
So is the event in September, is that a free event to attend?
It's free for 19401
For 19401, and what is it?
And all Expressive Path students, all Expressive Path volunteers, obviously. We can always use volunteer help.
I was going to ask you that. Now, how does somebody volunteer?
So they just contact 610-331-3516, call or text, or info@expressivepath.org. Just let us know. I mean,
are you looking for any volunteers in particular with a certain kind of skill set? Do you need art teachers? Do you need performers? Do you just need
So
bodies to help move tables around?
So all that for Expressive Path, and then more like the day-to-days of Expressive Path, we would love just marketing help and computer technology,
Grant writers.
outreach, grant writers, fundraisers. People often will say, "I'd love to volunteer, but I'm not an artist. I'm not a musician.
Right.
I'm not, into culinary. I'm not into the arts." And I say, "We're a business.
Right.
So we need help with making flyers and contacting
That's
people
right.
and everything that's day to day we could use help with. And if you volunteer with us, you can do it for one event a year, or you can come hang out with us every day. It really is just up to you. You will just we never say no if somebody says they want to pitch a hand.
Right. And that's been very similar. That's been our experience where will say, I don't know anything about coffee and I don't really know anything about live music. So otherwise I would volunteer. And I'm like, can you do a spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Can you hang a flyer?
That's true.
Can you load the ambulance for me? Can
Yes.
you unload it? Like, much like you were in the beginning, I'm a one-woman show.
Mm-hmm.
I have some key, really strong volunteers, but the day-to-day minutia of it all falls all on me.
Right.
And you know what that's like.
I do. And actually, I mean, I do have a full-time education director, Madeline Wiley. She's phenomenal. And we do have interns that support us pretty regularly.
That's great.
But it's still a lot of it falls on the few of us.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful for, we have 22 teachers now that contract out. They're great. Make me so proud. It's lovely. And then we have a lot of different volunteers that help. And they fill in the blanks. They help us make it happen. So I'm thankful to all of you that are volunteering for us.
Could you have even imagined in 2018 what Expressive Path would look like in 2023?
No. And in 2020, I really couldn't.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, I didn't know if it was going to work. And, unfortunately, I have two angels up there now, my mom and my dad. And I do feel like,
they're guiding your ship.
yeah,
Yeah.
just also just the way they raised me, I tried to live like they taught me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am without all that and the support of my son Alex, and so my support of my family and friends. Wow.
Right.
But also the community.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
that's what's making it roll.
Well, that's the thing, right?
And the volunteers.
This whole Norristown community, we have each other's back.
It's awesome.
And I am friendly with so many other small business owners, nonprofits that all get what we're doing. And
big family.
It is a big family, just like our music community is a big family. And it's funny because on more than one occasion in the last almost 3 years that I've been doing this, when I felt like I was at my breaking point, mutual friends of ours have used you as a reference to me.
Okay.
Like, keep going. Look at what Pam's done.
Really?
Yeah. Joe Snyder was one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're right.
He's a pretty cool guy too.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. But so I often play that back in my head.
You've done.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have to start taking compliments better.
Do it.
I'm learning.
I think that's hard for a lot of people.
It is because my go-to is just to be self-deprecating and to give credit elsewhere. But once I turned 50, I swear to God, people were not lying. Something changed in my brain. And I was like, this is the year of me. And you know what?
Good for you.
I have really busted my ass to get to this point.
I know.
And the sky's only the limit for us. I mean,
it is.
I am motivated every day by watching other people grow their nonprofits and the things that other people do, but the connections, the kids, meeting people, like Shane and he made me, like we were saying, he made me want to run through a brick wall. He got me so fired up.
He made me so inspired. So I came in here with a broken foot and I'm being a baby about it. And I'm leaving going,
you're like, this kid's in a wheelchair, and he was like,
he's taking on the wheels. I'm like, I just need to like put it in check.
Yeah.
And really think about how good, I have it.
Right.
One piece of advice I'll give to you, which I always have to remind myself, I think it's great when you're inspired by other folks.
Sure.
But I think we all have to be careful not to compare ourselves to people that have been doing businesses for say like 40 years or so. So
Right.
for a while people were saying, oh, well, this one's doing this and this one's doing that. And I actually decided to sit down and look on the internet and see how long they've been around. And then I saw 75 years, 40 years, 30
Right.
years. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just give myself a break.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I thought about it, listen, we started in a pandemic. Okay. So when
yeah,
I look back and I'm like, am I necessarily where I would have hoped to have been at it's not going to be 3 years till May, but, 3 years in? No, but I am a hell of a lot further than most businesses that didn't last through the pandemic. I actually
which is a
started
lot.
in the middle of a pandemic.
There's a lot of businesses that
Yeah,
ended up not making it. It's really quite sad.
it is.
And then there's some that ended up almost having a windfall.
That's true too.
But
you know what? I think a lot of those are businesses that saw the need, put the work in, and they're also giving back every chance they get.
true.
Collegeville Bakery.
Yeah.
Steve is a brilliant, brilliant business owner and a brilliant marketer. Creating a drive-through for a pizza place,
It's awesome.
it's that.
I don't know.
Fabulous. And that was a game changer
Yeah.
because
Something you can keep.
it's something you can keep. I mean, we were doing text Ange if you want coffee and Jake will bring it to your car because I'm like, I don't know, I didn't know what else to do.
Starting during a pandemic and being like where you are right now. So
yeah, I think
give yourself a pat.
I know sometimes but I do. I am guilty of comparison.
Yeah, and
I'm
I have
guilty
to
of
watch
that.
too because I know that, people ask, well, when did you start? And I have to remind myself, you know what? I was working 2 full-time jobs for like a couple years.
Right.
Like, where might have I been if I wasn't doing that? And
Yeah.
I just try to, cut myself some slack.
100%. What's next? So you've got the new program that's
We're taking
starting.
over the world.
Yeah, right. Where do you see Expressive Path in 5 years? When we revisit this conversation, when we are, the #1 podcast and people are like, Joe Rogan, who? Just kidding.
You never know.
You never know. But, when I have my own McFarlane Productions or whatever,
Yeah.
and I have you come back, but we're in my big studio.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just speaking shit into existence. Where do you think Expressive Path will be? Or what's your next goal that you're hoping to crush and knock out of the park?
I mean, we're just getting ready to move into our new place and, start programming there in-house.
Do you have to do a lot of remodeling?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. So after that all happens, we might want to settle there for a while. But eventually, we'd like to own our own building.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd like to reach different communities.
I was going to say, do you see yourself expanding outside of 401?
Absolutely. We do some right now. We do some workshops, some classes in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And because of the nature of the students that we work with in shelter and detention, they're from 5-county radius.
Okay.
And we do work with a couple foster care agencies and so forth where the students are in Delaware County and Chester County and so forth. So we do some of that work, but to really dig in.
Oh, yeah.
We'd love to dig in Pottstown, Willow Grove, Abington area.
That's great.
Lansdale, Ambler area. So those are
kind of your target.
Our sights on those places as being, a little bit more than just the occasional.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So just to kind of recap, we talked about all of the events that you've got going on. Is that all listed on your website? People will be able to see all those things, or will be as it gets closer?
It will be usually closer to, and then we do a lot on social media. Follow us on Instagram, please. Expressive Path _. And we're on Facebook too. I talk about Instagram more because as an artist, I find it so much more exciting, quick.
Well, and you can do a lot more
creative.
Yes, you can do a lot on there. But don't just like this podcast. Actually, go click on the link of Expressive Path. Read about them. Get to really ingrain yourself in their mission and share it. That's the whole point of us doing this. That's the community part of this.
Right.
Yeah, she's having coffee. I may or may not be having a cocktail in my coffee mug.
I do not. I'm on
Totally
the
am.
clock.
I am too, but I'm my own boss, so
Yeah,
you
right,
know.
right.
Um, but that's the community aspect of it. That's the whole reason that we do this is to open other people's eyes to other nonprofits
Yeah.
that have similar like missions, but just need some more exposure and are providing good service. It's it's so easy to get lost in the day-to-day yuck of life and scrolling through
Good way to put
social
it.
media and
Hmm.
you sneeze the wrong way and somebody's accusing you. It's just there's so much
There is a lot
yuck
going
out
on.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a lot of yuck.
if we can just let people see the good you're doing and see the smiling faces of the kids that you work with, uh, I think that brings a little bit of joy to everybody. So I'm going to switch gears.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite album?
Oh my God.
Yeah, stumping you. But gut reaction. Favorite album?
Oh gosh, it changes all the time. So the first one that popped in my head right now is probably Let It Be, just because I mean I'm a huge like Beatles and Stones fan, but it changed my Beatles album changes all the time. That's the one right now. So
Yeah.
that's what popped in my head right away.
Yes, Creeper. Do you have a
But
question?
oh,
Okay.
but as you know, I love metal
Yeah.
and all that too. So
Hey, what's your favorite genre of metal? Meaning, under metal there's so many there's
yeah,
different
rock
subgenres. There's the
metal.
hair metal,
Yeah,
the thrash,
thrash.
speed, death,
Yeah.
classic metal. What do you love?
So like classic metal and like hair metal,
Okay.
80s metal.
Okay.
I'm staring at an Iron Maiden poster right now. Want to see them. Love that. You know,
The last time
I
or
love.
when they were here with Ghost or
I did not see them at this time in my life. I was much younger. I saw them during the 80s.
Okay.
So
Okay.
some of the bands that I go back to see now, I'm kind of like Van Halen.
Yeah.
I saw them in the 80s. There was nothing like Van Halen in the
Yeah.
80s. I saw them like 3 times. I saw David Lee on his own like twice.
Yep.
I went to see them Susquehanna Bank Center. I mean, it was rough.
Was it painful?
It
Was Dave with him?
He was.
Oh, yeah, he can't kick anymore, right?
No, he
God
can't
bless
kick.
him.
He just kind of moves his scar.
But for the record,
But
we aged with him.
yeah.
And, I can't do the shit that
Give him
I
some
used to do
credit.
when I was that
You
age.
gotta give him some credit there. You're right.
What about Kiss?
Do I like him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw Kiss without makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, years ago.
Did you ever see him with?
I don't think so.
That was Jason and I, it was our first date.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
1996.
Wow.
So funny. And that's
So romantic.
Yeah, so romantic. And then we actually came into Detroit Rock City at our wedding. Our whole wedding was Beatles themed.
Okay.
Every song in our
I didn't know
wedding
you
ceremony.
love the Beatles.
Oh, that's Jason's number one band, and they're
See
definitely
now.
within.
So I did okay with my Let It Be.
You did, and they are definitely in my top 5, if not my number 1. It switches back and forth. I go round and round, but our whole wedding was Beatles themed, and then our reception we came into Detroit Rock City because
awesome.
That's who we are as people.
So I love like pretty much anything music except I don't like pop country that much.
All right, like Luke Perry and
It's
Carrie
really not
Underwood.
my thing.
Okay.
No, but I love me some Johnny Cash.
Oh, so old country.
I'd
Have you been to Nashville?
I've not. It's on my bucket list.
Girl,
I
come
wanna
with
get
us.
there.
Come with us in October. It's going to be the
So
third
exciting.
year that we go.
Yay.
Yeah, we went 2 years ago for his, what was it for our 10-year wedding anniversary. Then we went this past October. We got back from Nashville last year,
Okay.
middle of October, end of October, and booked our trip for this past year. And it could not have come at a better time because it was 2 months after the house and everything, and we were exhausted.
Mhm.
We're like, we have got to get out of this town. And we
Good
went
for
for a
you.
week and had the best time. And so we're making it an annual thing. We don't need to go down there as long. You don't need to be there for 7 days. It's kind of like going to Vegas.
Okay.
3 days is fine.
Sounds good.
And at our age, I strongly advise you to really embrace the day drinking aspect of it. and doing because the bars open at 11 and they don't close till 3 in the morning.
Oh my
But
goodness.
every single bar and restaurant is 3 stories of music,
Got you.
and it's amazing.
I love that.
Oh my God, you would because
really
one
love
night
it.
we were at Robert's Western World, and they're doing old school. They were doing like Porter Wagner and like Loretta, old stuff, and we go outside and I heard Anthrax
Wow.
across the street.
Caught in a mosh.
So I went across the street to
I did get caught in a mosh, by the way.
yeah, so did I. I actually at a Slayer show, and I had a clip in my hair, and somebody stepped on it and
That's awful.
dug it into my skull. Yeah, that was one of my war wounds. If you look deeply, you can see.
Oh my gosh, I got caught in the mosh at a Guns N' Roses show before people knew who Guns N' Roses were. It was at Airport Music Hall.
Oh my God, yes.
And I was literally on the floor and they were moshing around me. Why they were moshing for Guns N' Roses, I'll never know. But I was like, can somebody help me? Like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Well, I go across the street to it was called the Mellow Mushroom, I think. And it was a Thursday night. It was a metal band. And I was like, I freaking love this city. Like, I literally could go to like 19 different bars and hear 19 different kinds of
You didn't
music.
expect it?
I did not expect a metal night.
No.
Not on the Strip. I
Yeah,
think that there's
I
a
wouldn't have
bar.
either.
Well, there's a rock club there I think it's called Bowie's. And they
Oh, I
have
like that.
different rock music
Okay.
every night of the week.
Nice.
I think it's in Painter's Alley or Printer's Alley.
Sounds cool. Do they have
Something
an
like
Eagles
that.
bar?
You know what? Somebody told me that there is an Eagles bar down there.
Okay.
I've never found it.
So
But that's
whenever I go away, I find the Eagles bar.
that's awesome.
Good.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, it's fun.
They're everywhere. But when I walked in, I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's metal night." And then they gave me their list of songs to pick from, and I was like, "Holy shit! I could be here all night."
Oh, that's so cool.
It was so cool. They did they did
Love Metallica.
I texted Jason and I was like, "Get across the street." When he came in, I think they did Ride the Lightning, they did Master of Puppets. He probably had him do the Four Horsemen because that's one of his favorite
I
songs.
love that.
It was such a good time. So I strongly suggest that you make that a priority. And
I'm
it's
gonna make it my priority. So, what's Jake's favorite album?
Jake, what's your favorite band?
Rush.
Rush is your
Nice.
favorite band. Which one? Which album?
The Fly By Night album.
Fly By Night album.
Fly-
I saw them when I was like 15 or 16. Grace Under Pressure.
Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
The thing
I
with
don't.
Jake is he loves all things that Jason loves. And when he
got
was
you.
little, he didn't talk till he was close to 3. And it was a lot of times when he did speak, we called it Japanese because
Aw.
he just had his own language. And
Yay.
one of the first things that he could do fluently was sing Hello Goodbye by the Beatles.
Oh, great.
And he would even do the part. And so
He's good with noises.
he's
good at
very
mimicking
good.
noises.
He's got really good pitch,
Yeah.
but he loves music. And he actually called, what's the actual name of the song that you call Wonder is the Woe or whatever? Go tell your dad to come here for a second.
No, it's fine.
No, go tell him to come here,
No,
please.
it's fine.
I asked you nicely.
Dad, go get him.
No, I could have done that. I don't want to scream into the microphone.
It's
Dad,
like
go get 'em.
Wonders of the
See,
World.
Wonders
of the World.
Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get your father.
No, it is.
Please go get him.
That doesn't sound
No,
good to me.
Anthem. That's it.
Okay.
They
I'm
say
gonna go
wonders
to my
of the
father.
world or something, and he often, because sometimes his auditory processing is not great, he hears things differently, and he used to think they were saying wonders of the wo-wo. And
Okay.
so he would be in his little car seat in the back seat singing that at the top of his lungs. And then we as a family just start calling songs that. Yeah. So he loves Queen. He loves Billy Joel.
Okay.
He recently has developed a love of Wasp,
Wow.
which,
Where did that come from?
so there's a Wasp poster in the hallway,
Okay.
and he loves looking at the different posters, and we'll catch him looking at albums.
Okay.
And
And now he has a new love for Philly sports team, though.
yes,
Good.
that's new.
Okay.
That's new. And that's weird to us that it's new because he grew up around Philly sports constantly between his father and his big brother.
Well, it seems like the parenting came through.
It did. It really did. It really did. And I had the proudest moment of my life the other day because I am hugely obsessed with Law and Order, SVU,
Okay.
and organized crime. And he is now a total Law and Order junkie.
Is he?
Yes, he
That's
was like,
funny.
Mom, I want to make coffee for Detective Stabler, and I was like, me too. Um,
Hilarious.
yeah, he pretended to be Olivia Benson. It was
pretty cool.
Yeah, he did a good job. So,
Okay.
well, I'm very glad that we had the chance to sit down and have a conversation.
This is fun.
We are often running into each other,
Yeah.
whether it be you coming in here or me seeing you at the Ribby or whatever it is, and we've not really taken the time to sit down and have a conversation about just moving our missions together
Mhm.
and forward. So this came
Let's
about.
do it over video.
Right. Well, because this kind of came about by you reaching out and going, hey, let's get a date on the calendar. And I was
Right.
like, in fact, why don't you do the
record it.
why don't we record it? Why don't you do the podcast and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming out today.
Thanks for having me.
Very excited about everything you guys are doing.
Samesies.
February 19th, Rib House, $10 admission, three-way charity fundraiser, Expressive Path, the Grammarian Community Cupboard, and Upper Bridgeport Little League.
Yeah.
You can donate at Expressive Path Venmo, and you can also we will be a drop-off spot for instruments, musical supplies. I'll post all that information. You can also bring them to the Rib House. I'm sure Melissa will have some place to store the stuff. And it's a great lineup. So again, thank you to the bands that have donated their time.
Absolutely.
Go to the Spring Fling,
April
70s
28th.
theme, April 28th, and then plan for September to go to the Arts in the Park, right?
Yep, September 16th.
So September 16th. So, but if you are looking for volunteer opportunities,
Yes.
hit Pam up, okay? Hit me up.
For this one.
Yeah, right. We both need volunteer. What are you doing with a beer?
For Mr. Tracy, can't have this back.
Oh, I don't know if you know this, but when Jake's not making coffee, he's a beerista for Dad and his friends. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you again.
Thanks so much.
And we'll see you soon.
Rock on.
Peace.